The boys are back in town.
We got a new boy in town.
The triple trouble is here, but not what you think.
We have a replacement. We got a relief pitcher in here.
Well, listen. First and foremost, you're listening to Knock 'em Out the Box. This is episode 138. My name is Vinny Paz. I'm here with my co-host with the co-most, the Mr. Majestic Left, Right, Left Kid, Mr. Brendan Long. Say hello.
138. And
Triple Trouble is in the building, but it is not Bindle Sticks. Who's here?
We got Pablo Cheapo.
Professor Pablo.
Yes.
At your service.
Professor Pablo is rocking
sitting in.
with us.
I don't know. He's trying out. We might have to have a replacement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it's been 2 decades since he's been a regular boxing watcher, but that's way more than Billy Bindlesticks, who has never won.
Yeah, I was there during the HBO golden era.
He was.
Look, so that's all you need. That's all you need to know. Now we're in the fragmented streaming era.
Huge fan of Harold Letterman, Pablo. Huge fan of.
Okay, then.
Including the 10th and final round.
Jim.
See?
He's got it.
About?
He's got it. Yeah, so Billy, guys out there, Knockies, I don't know if you guys want to reach out to him.
What's with this guy?
I don't know. Again, riding the rails. We don't know where he is.
What was his message to us?
Tonight?
It was we're recording? Like,
here's what I'm told.
We were doing some music stuff.
Okay, so let's give a background, guys. As you're probably fishing for the episode, you're gonna see that it's not there because what happened was the episodes we had to slide them each a day. All right, so you'll get as we record this, you'll hear this a day later on each episode. With that said, Vinny and Billy had to do some work yesterday in terms of the music stuff, and we couldn't record. So due to scheduling conflicts, we're not suspending production for a week. We're just sliding it one day for you guys.
Guys. We could have bailed.
We could have bailed. We didn't. We chose not to. Billy bails a lot. I'm not sure. Should we call him a bail bondsman? Is that what we should call him from now on?
Well, let's look. We can bring Pablo in because Pablo is married.
Mm-hmm.
With 3 beautiful children.
Mm-hmm.
Never missed one episode of Broad Street Breakdown or bailed. He was on vacation one time, said that Gavin and I were unable to record without him.
Mm-hmm.
So out of spite, we did it, not out of any need, but out of spite, we did it. So 100 and something episodes, never missed. And he's the one who would absolutely do it once a week.
By the way, one of my favorite episodes is the Pablo solo episode.
Rogue edition. Thank you.
Love that episode.
He did go rogue.
And I repaired the walls in my old warehouse listening to that episode, cracking up.
Thank you.
I had that on loud.
See,
I used to have a big speaker.
It does not need to be part of this episode that he's sitting in. Please don't.
What are you talking about? He's an esteemed guest slash editor of this show.
Brendo,
he's actually part of the team.
When you take the girls to the Bronx Zoo or whatever, you know that sign, "Don't feed the bears."
Mm-hmm.
Take heed.
All right.
With stroking this guy.
You really don't like to bestow compliments over there, Mr. Vinny.
That's not true. I throw him out like crazy. I'm quick with a compliment. Don't say that about me. Stop.
These are some backhanded. This is some stuff. I don't.
No,
like
I'm just saying he doesn't need any more.
Thank you, Pablo.
I like that he filled in.
Why does he keep bailing, Pablo?
Billy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look, my kids are teenagers and above. His kids are little kids. They require a lot of work. And I think the wife has a job that requires her to be away. And he hasn't put his foot down and said, look, I'm the man of the house. So you need to take care of these 3 kids like I did.
I like all that.
And so he's dealing with it.
I like all of that. Thank you.
And I also heard that when he loses bets, he's not allowed to do an episode, the next episode. That's what I heard.
I think that's more the case.
See, this is what he brings to the table.
You know how the Gumas are like, oh, when he's up, he's the best guy in all of South Philly. When he's down, you're a bum, you're a scumball, I get your guts.
Right, you're a garbage pail. You get slapped around a little bit.
Yeah, typical.
I think it's more the latter than the former.
So guess what he did, Long and Pablo.
Mm.
So I give him a lock
Mm.
this past week. We'll get into the actual fights, right, in a second.
Yeah.
But I give him a lock, but it was something you and I both knew was a lock, right?
Mm.
He's at his house. He said he had a buddy over and they were drinking. And he forces the issue after I give him a lock in the Charlo fight.
Mm.
I say, not only is Charlo going to win, this cornflake's getting packed up in this round. You know what I mean? Remember we said before this round, all that. That he goes, oh, I'm feeling too froggy. I want to let it go. I go, there's nothing safe about this plant because sometimes it looks like he gained power later in his career, but it probably could go to, and he forced my hand. Of course, he was 14-1 favorite. He lost that bet.
Jesus.
So he was up. So
and then he's down.
Pablo's
and now he's gone.
And right. So
maybe he had to get a second job.
Maybe it's very low hanging fruit. Maybe it is the white. Billy was on set yesterday. Maybe it's more like, you're not dealing with this, Vinny, 2 days in a row.
Could be.
That could honestly just be it right there.
I'll bet you that's what it is.
I do.
Because if I had to deal with you 2 days in a row.
No, stop the madness. Your wife loves me. She'd be like, okay.
She'd be like, I've had enough.
Really? She'd be like, Ming, this Vinny again?
No. She's happy to get rid of me. She goes, go down to your dungeon, record your little.
Yeah.
Go talk to your friends.
Right. I like that.
Leave me alone.
I hate to go from this is episode 138. We're joined by the Professor Pablo. My oldest friend, started the label with me, stayed involved to this very day, co-host of Broad Street Breakdown with me and the OG. I hate to go from
an editor of this here show.
Yeah, producer, editor, everything.
Producer, rapper, CEO.
Yeah.
He's like the Diddy before there was
easy.
Pablo is the Diddy. Are we
Pablo is the Diddy.
Producer, rapper, CEO.
Pablo is the Diddy of the Iron Tusk operation. Are we victims or are we co-defendants?
Cheapo freak-offs. Let's go.
All right. Cheapo freak-offs.
I'm down.
The jiggy freak-off.
Man, women, whatever. Let's go.
Wow.
Whoa.
When the lights go out, you can't tell.
I hate to be pinheads and then try to do this, but it has to be done. We lost a great one in Mike, the body snatcher, McCallum. We'd be remiss to not briefly talk about it. Most of our younger supporters and listeners may or may not know. It's sort of as B and I were coming into our own, so was Mike McCallum as we were coming into our own as kids and fans. Mike was coming into his own as a goon in the sport. 3-division world champion. Super welter, middleweight, and light heavy, right, B?
Yeah.
Started in Kingston, Jamaica. He was 240-10
as an amateur,
which is crazy.
Yep.
He won gold at the 78 Commonwealth Games. Jamaica's first champion, which is crazy to think about.
And moved to Brooklyn, famously trained out of Gleason's.
Yes. Beat Hall of Famers like Donald Terry, that perfect left hook, Julian Jackson, Milton McCrory, Harold Graham, never stopped in 55 fights.
Nope.
Fighting James Toney and Roy Jones Jr. The guy was never James Toney called him the best he ever fought. And James Toney fought everybody.
Stevie Collins, Harold Graham, Michael Watson.
Unreal.
He won the rematch with Sumbu Kalambe. And then again, drew with a prime James Toney when he was past it.
Yes.
Came back. He beat Jeff Harding. It was a really good win later in his career.
Yeah. Became a trainer in Vegas, giving back. Trained kids. Wasn't going to be trying to be a one of those name trainer type guys. He trained a lot of people without fanfare. Mentoring young fighters. Class act. Mike McCallum was a ring artist. Rest easy, Mike.
Were you aware that was he sick? Has anybody reported cause of death?
I'm sorry, B, to talk over. You want to say that again?
I just said I didn't know that he was sick. I wasn't aware. Typically, we'll hear something either through, the ether or on the zeitgeist through this internet thing. I hadn't heard a thing.
So we're recording a few days removed from hearing of his passing, and I still haven't heard
Haven't heard
how or
anything.
why. He was young though, so my
Yeah.
antenna goes up to something. You know what I mean? Either he
Yeah.
was sick or it was tragic. You know what I mean? Like I hope it wasn't a car accident or something.
I think we would have heard, it had, usually it's illness if they don't report.
Yeah, someone close to you and your family just passed in a horrible way, So it's who knows. I hope he didn't suffer, Mike, because he was young. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I didn't hear that he was sick. There is no good way to go when you're young. So there is no answer that will satisfy us. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're very old, then I'm okay. All right, he had a good run. But, Mike couldn't have been more than, what, mid-60s, I'm guessing? Could he have been that old?
56. So he was born in 56. Right?
So so he'd be like 59 years old?
68.
Oh,
He's 68.
Okay,
68.
okay. I'm 10 years. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. No, it's that 2020s myth. We're still stuck.
I know.
Everything is 10 years.
Guys, between B and I, we mentioned some names. Go watch Mike McCallum if you want to see someone who looks like they were born to do something.
Yeah.
When we talk about James Toney, put Mike McCallum right there as a guy who the fluidity, the B and I use the word all the time.
Guys, he beat the shit out of arguably the most feared knockout puncher at the lower weights of all time in Julian Jackson.
He did
beat the shit out of him.
Who I believe is the scariest puncher of all time. He did him dirty. He packed him up.
He is the prototypical guy that takes what you do well and neutralizes it. And he did that he did it with James Toney.
Well said. Said. And the fluidity and to have power on fluid shots too. Those guys usually sit down and get robotic with their shot. He was fluid with his shots and would ice you. And again, arguably, I'm not saying the best, but arguably the hardest nickname of all time. The body snatcher. That's the hardest.
And it's fucking amazing.
And I don't even know if it is arguably. Is he the most underrated International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee of all time?
Is he the most underrated great?
I mean, he is a guy that people skip over.
I think so, B.
I think that
Birdman would have said, put some respect on his name.
Right. I think that's where we talk about like power in the promo. You know what I mean? He didn't cut pro. He was workmanlike. You talk about
culturally, those dudes are very mellow.
Lunch pail guy. But go out there and beat the balls off you.
A lot stars were around at that time to dwarf him.
Yeah.
You had Heigler in his prime. You had an up and coming Mike. Sugar Ray Leonard.
It was a weird time. So you had
time.
The four kings, right? So his prime
all of the four kings were active.
Right. All those guys. And then you had the British guys in Nigel Benn, Eubank, Stevie Collins, and then the Eastern European guys, Mick Lashevsky, and then Roy, and then all these guys, James Toney, like we said.
It was a star-filled.
And then in my opinion, which is now we're in the third, but the second heavyweight golden era, which was the 90s.
Yep.
We're now in the third heavyweight golden era now.
Right.
So all of this is in the middle of this poor bastard's prime.
Yeah, a guy like Tommy Morrison was more known. And Tommy Morrison isn't even amongst the elite of the guys B's talking about.
Right.
Bo or Evander or Lennox.
So you had this guy, Mike McCallum, that was like a real, like you and I use the rap comparison a lot, right?
Yes.
So he's like the master ace of his era. You know what I mean? Like, you get Slaughterhouse and you're like, yo, this shit's fucking incredible.
Right. But then the Chronic drops.
And you go, what? And blows it up. Drops, and then Wu-Tang and Biggie and Nas and then bang, 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 bang. And you're like, well, it gets buried.
Where is Slaughterhouse now? Because this is just as good.
Right.
I think we should do a poll, no puff. Is Mike McCallum the most underrated all-time great? Because he's an all-time great.
He's an all-time great, correct. You're not overstating that by saying that.
B-Man, I'm wondering if you saw this because it's a little bit late incoming. O'Shaquie Foster and Cool Boy Steph Fulton have struck a deal for a WBC junior lightweight title fight. Fulton, the WBC champion at featherweight, will move up to junior lightweight.
Philly. Love it. Philly.
As he seeks to become a 3-division champion. The fight is expected to land on the August 16th Gervonta Tank Davis Lamont Roach 2 undercard, which I love even more.
Great. He gets a Philly date. I mean, he gets a Vegas date, right? He's going to challenge for at his third weight class, which he's all balls.
Let me say something that Brandon likes to talk about. Brandon likes to talk about the jump from 140. I think the jump from bantam and
super bantam,
feather,
and
then in there, bantam super to 30 is as big as that, because he's far superior than Al-Sheikh Foster.
Yeah.
So when it comes time to break this down, the only thing from my point of view is going to be what you are doing, and will do with Bud and Canelo. Yo, at what point is too much?
Too much, right?
Because let's not pretend like Scooter stayed at 26 for mad long.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it's a brief.
Wasn't it just one fight, the rematch with Figueroa?
Yeah. No, he fought the guy who knocked him down, remember?
That was at 26?
Yeah. He had moved
I thought
up.
that was still at 22. So
Blow. I don't know if you know, Cool Boy Steph is a Philly head. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a few times.
Good dude.
His last fight, he gained a lot of attention and a lot of
I don't know if you saw his post.
So he had custom made boxing boots that were Tim's, and custom boxing shorts that were like jean jorts.
So he had jorts and construction Tims in the ring, boxed in them.
I remember seeing the Tims. I don't remember the jorts.
Yeah, so jorts and Tims.
Tims.
So people, of course, Vinny.
In what year?
What?
This
year?
What
year?
This year.
Right now. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
and
like maybe
not many fights ago, he had a rat tail that was midway down his back, and B and I feared that it was like Samson cutting his.
He cut his rat tail off. We got nervous.
He got his head flown by the monster, so he might have done it because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know when sometimes dreads will be like, "Bomba clot, these dreads have bad energy."
Yeah.
You know when they do that, wrong, but they feel like they're
his rat tail gave him bad energy.
So he came in full Philly, like Philly drill song playing, shorts, construction Tims, craziness.
And his boots and his fathers is trainer.
People were tweeting like, "Yo, what's happening? Like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, why is this boy on the TV in Timbos and jorts?" Like it became a trending thing.
Yeah,
he's a little dude. He's not like popular. He's popular in boxing, but like he's not.
He's not a big puncher.
He's not a household.
He's not a household name, and he's not a puncher. He's a boxer.
Right.
Box.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say he's like from Puerto Rico or something, because back in the day it would take years for trends to hit those people.
Yeah, they would.
Like, they're still calling that shit discotheque down. Like they still called nightclubs discotheque.
Right. I got
you. But with the internet now,
this is 2025.
With the internet now, I would be like, oh well, he should know by now. Tim's ain't nobody wearing Tim's.
They are though. That's the thing. He tried to hold it down for Philly Young Boy.
It was a shout. It was a shout out.
Philly Young Boy shout is what he was doing. So
long way to go.
That's dope. Steph Fulton is better than Al-Sheikh Foster, but is more than he can chew with the size difference? No Diddy, we'll see. Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney was signed, sealed, and delivered. Bang! Negotiations have collapsed for a proposed fight between Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez.
Tell me why.
August 16th in Riyadh. Already, Devin Haney is already talking to Coppinger and saying like, this guy fucked it up, meaning Teo. Already he fucked it up.
Well, he already fucked up. He insulted Turkey Al-Sheikh last week.
Correct.
Comes on Twitter fingers an apology. Then sort of mocks the apology.
Correct.
Then I mean, again, I don't know what this guy. He's generating clicks.
Unless
I thought he did this to generate a fight. And
well, it looked like it, didn't it? And then,
sure.
And then before we hit the airwaves, you go, yo, you got the updated update,
right?
And I go, I think so. I thought, we don't like to say too much before we,
right. And shouts to Ring Mag for being on top of everything. Like their social media is
shout out,
whoever's working that
yes
is they got their hands full.
And shout out to Mike Coppinger for getting the gig with Ring and staying and making it worth it.
Right.
Not just taking a gig and resting on his laurels.
Right.
Doug Fisher, all those guys over there are not fucking playing around when it comes to the rebirth, and
breaking news
and breaking news and the rebirth of the Ring and their contribution to the rebirth of the sport. So yeah, man, I think you can go. We talk about Teo, we talk about Raleigh, we talk about Tank, we talk about these guys with big mouths and talking themselves into fight and Twitter fingers and when it's good and when it's bad. And this dude's just like habitually line stepping. And you can add this. So this is a guy who's always saying some racist shit as well on top of that.
Right.
So he's just a boob, and that's fine, bro. I don't have to like you. He's a good fighter. And this was a fight that,
I mean, I was just saying, like, props to both these young guys for.
I'm curious to see if there's another after the air, B, where you don't hit me tomorrow and go, yo, one day after we recorded, it's back on.
Right.
Like,
that happens to us a lot.
I believe this is going to be re-salvaged, meaning a second time.
Okay.
I mean, like within, maybe not by the time we're back.
I wonder, okay. Now hear me out.
Please.
This was originally booked for August 16th.
Correct.
The same day as what? Tank Lamont Roach.
Correct.
Do you think this is possibly
one-upsmanship?
Possibly a publicity stunt? They dipped their toe in the interest, said August 16th, and then they went.
Okay, let me ask you this. By Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season, or by
everybody's in on it.
So everyone's in on the work.
Everyone's in on the work.
So you're saying Montreal screw job, but for the 10th.
Montreal screw job.
Vince, Brett, and Shawn Michaels. They're the only one. So it's Turki, Devin,
and
Teo, and they go, look, screw job. We're the only ones at 11. No, take this to our graves.
That's what I think that we're seeing some of that stuff because of how this is all navigating. We still haven't figured out if
I do too.
If TKO is involved with Turkey still, right?
So TKO and Endeavor owns UFC, and they bought WWE from Vince. It's like none of those guys own it anymore.
Wow.
This giant conglomerate. But if I started naming the people involved, you'd know them all. Like Nick Khan, who's the guy, that you always remind me, and I always forget his name. I think he runs Endeavor.
Ari Emanuel.
You know him, right?
Yeah.
So like
big now, Dana White.
Turki Al-Sheikh, the Aki that's like trying
my
to
man,
he's now in with them.
Or was.
And was like, yo, Dana White is going to promote Bud and Canelo. So it's getting crazy.
So yeah, Dana White and Nick Khan are TKO. They're going to handle all the promotions.
Dead. So B and I are trying to figure out that he did it with TKO because this guy's a gazillionaire. B, you're talking Saudi money. This is not. People that try to think of like, oh, Floyd Mayweather's rich, Donald Trump is rich. Like this dude's money is.
And again, we've said
wealthy.
This isn't even This is
beyond
wealth. Like
wealthy people.
It's not measured on Forbes.
It's not.
Because they don't divulge how much they have.
Right.
So it's
a number. It's a level of money.
The estimation I heard that they have to lose is unlosable.
Yeah.
It's in the trillions of dollars that they're like, what's 100 million here or there? It's like me and you.
The earliest number I heard when we first started hearing his name, so obviously it's more, was 300 billion with a B.
Yeah, they like build land. There's like, there's land. There's no land here. Let's build land.
Yeah, bro, they're making skyscrapers in land where like people walk shoeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's crazy. All right,
man.
Some I don't want to call it sad yet, but some worrisome news. Genjiro Shigeoka has suffered an acute subdural hematoma and undergone brain surgery following his defeat to Pedro Tadoran on Saturday.
The second time he lost to him.
Yes. We picked the winner. We didn't think this was going to happen. It didn't look crazy when it happened.
No.
The
Young
former
guy too.
IBF, yeah, young guy. The former IBF strawweight world champion lost consciousness after the result was announced and remained unconscious in hospital under anesthesia. I didn't see that, even though I was watching live. So they either, because their coverage is different than ours, and they don't just go to a guy with a mic all the time or go and
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know this until the news broke, and I was
I don't
watching
think
live.
anybody did. I think they took him,
Yeah,
for his checkup, and then this is it obviously progressed.
yeah. I'm bringing this up because I saw him making excuses. B, just weigh in on what you think. Ryan Garcia is set to undergo hand surgery on Tuesday in Los Angeles to repair damages sustained to his right hand. Garcia reportedly injured his hand during training camp for his May 2nd fight against Rolly Romero. And then Oscar was making excuses for Garcia, saying he told me leading up, but that he refused to call it off. So I don't know if that seed
Hey,
planting.
guys hurt their hands. It's
Sure.
bad news. No one has a healthy camp. That's 100% healthy camp.
Look, no one's 100% healthy in fights, guys.
No,
No one. You're always at best, you're nicked up.
right.
At
So,
worst, you're hurt.
if he's getting surgery, I believe he was hurt. Again, these guys, the injury could progress. Could have been from the last fight. Could have been from bag work. Could have been from overtraining. Who knows? But he's hurt. He's hurt. I love when they
He's
say no excuses, but
but
then give an excuse.
yeah.
Um,
He's young. It's usually 6 weeks before you can get back to doing anything.
yeah,
So 6 weeks from right now would put us at
I think
mid-July.
his mental state and the fact that I feel like he doesn't train will be more detrimental to his career than this potential hand injury.
I'm gonna throw out what are they called? Hot takes, big when we say things. I'm gonna throw back. I wouldn't be surprised if we never see him again.
I would be surprised we never see him again. I think we'll
He
see him
should be,
again.
he should realistically be back by the end. His age and his ability to heal, and he's an athlete. We should see him before the end of the year with an injury like this. AJ's coming back after surgery, and he's much older than Ryan Garcia, probably by 10 years.
I'd say put Garcia on in November, December.
That's what I think.
Yeah, give him a winnable fight. Put him in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Knock some rust off.
Here's what I'm really trying to say. Soft touch in November beats that soft touch, goes back to a real guy, real
Loses.
side when it comes and loses, and then that's it.
I've never thought much of him.
No, neither. We don't on the show.
Correct.
Moses Italma is set to return on the Usyk Dubois 2 undercard on July 9th.
Right.
Frank Warren revealed that Itama will not be facing Martin Bakoli or Joseph Parker, which I said last one. He's not. I'm not big on him, but he's definitely not ready for them. But another thing I did say is keep the kid busy and make me like him. And he's already coming back in a few weeks from now. So,
I know you don't like him, but I know Frank Warren can spot talent, and Frank Warren thinks he has something here. So
I just haven't seen what everyone's telling me is there, and I'm still waiting for it. So I'll give it.
Like I said, I gave my analysis last week where I think that there's some defensive holes.
His defense is leaky.
That I think
like a mule. I've seen this
before.
Up. I've seen this movie before. Is where I'm at right now.
Okay,
that's already an improvement for me. Just totally being like, yo,
he's got a lot of good fast twitch stuff that I like too, though.
Yeah, he does. I went from I don't want to see this guy. That's how overrated I thought he was. To, yo, he's leaky defensively and he hits like a mule and he's fast. I've seen this movie before, so that's already an improvement in me in changing how I view things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're growing as a person.
I don't know about that. VADA informed all relevant parties Wednesday that Jaime Munguia's A sample returned an adverse analytical finding for exogenous origin of testosterone metabolites following a urine sample on May 4th when he defeated Bruno Sarachi. Munguia has 10 days to request analysis of his B sample for exogenous origin of testosterone metabolites. Munguia defeated Sarachi in the super middleweight rematch after he was KO'd by the Frenchman in December in the ring's upset of the year. Did you see Jaime Munguia's promo?
You mean Bruno Sarachi's promo?
No.
Oh, Jaime Munguia cut a promo?
Jaime Munguia cut a promo, then another one. So there are two already for him.
I No, but it is
Pablo, his trainer, right?
Okay.
This is now his 5th or 6th, number 5 to pop hot.
Oh my God.
The family are butchers in Mexico, P. And they say that it was
the
tainted
tainted
meat.
meat,
No.
which they've said in the past.
When
So,
Canelo popped hot against Golovkin, P, because you remember those
clenbuterol.
guys
Yeah.
for clenbuterol, they were like, it was tainted meat, and these guys are butchers.
So it was Luis Neri, right? It was
Correct.
Oscar Valdez,
Correct.
Canelo,
Correct.
this guy,
Correct.
and
There's one
Ryan
more.
Garcia.
And Ryan Garcia. Where
And
there's
they-
smoke, there's fire.
And it's all different drugs that they pop for,
Yeah.
supplements.
They don't know how to cycle off it during the
No,
test.
they're not right. As Steve Kim said in a tweet, I'm not sure if him and Mr. Lopez will cover it on their podcast, 3 Knockdown Rule, but
They will.
something
They will.
along the lines of be like, one time that's a blank. 2 times maybe it's a coincidence. 3, sort of a where there's smoke, there's fire
Yeah.
thing. But he said it better than I'm
Fool
saying.
me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Exactly. But he
Yeah.
did it even another way. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
you have to start.
You got to question it. What the fuck is coming out of that camp? One of our Nakis, I don't want to get his name wrong, so just bear with me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Eddie Reynoso is the trainer. P. His father and him are butchers. Cheapo Reynoso. They've been with Canelo since he was a kid. This is their 5th fight of the pop hot.
yeah. So this we have a guy one of the Nakis' names is Do Pesci, which I love that. D.
Yeah, it's great.
Pesci. He's at Donnie_Dingo on Twitter, X or whatever. He said, so I tweeted when the news broke, I said Canelo's entire career needs to be questioned.
Correct.
Do Pesci responds, what I miss? I said, another Reynoso fighter, in parentheses, Munguia popped hot. He goes, that's what I figured you meant. Running a gas station over there. I love that he calls it a gas station. That's
I like that. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out Do Pesci for he's running a gas station. It certainly seems like he is. I mean,
now if Do Pesci has any sort of sense of humor, he'll tweet me and just say, what am I here to amuse you? But
funny how. That's just what
funny how. Funny haha. Funny like a clown.
All right. Speaking of which, Canelo says Turkey Al-Sheikh is the one I'm definitely going to retire with. Everything I'm about to say contradicts what we think is going to happen, Brendan. This is Canelo still speaking. My body is fine. I can keep fighting for several more years. 37 is the age I want to retire. Not for boxing to retire me. I don't need to do it for the money or legacy. I said I was going to retire at 37, and I'm sure I will. I think he loses to Bud, and then fights a few carnival fights. There is fucking no way he fights until 37.
He's 34. He's 34, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe.
He'll be 35.
This time is moving fast, and so is this show. And I go, oh, we were saying he's 33, turning 34. I feel like we just said
he's
that.
34. He'll be 35 in July. So I think it's
July, meaning next month?
July 18th.
Oh, then maybe he will fight till he's 37. That's 4 more fights for him.
Right.
I think he fights Bud and then three.
Bro, 4 more fights at around 80 million a fight.
Yeah. I think he fights Bud and then like Jake Paul type guys.
Okay.
That's
I don't disagree.
If I'm not going to change when he's going to retire, but I could see him retiring because Bud's going to beat him, and I could see him retiring.
That's it. That fight. It makes it more intriguing now.
Or him try to get his lick back.
When they first booked that fight, I said it's not interesting, and now that Canelo's looked worse in his last 2 fights, it's interesting.
Frank Warren said he expects Denzel Bentley to fight Janabek for the WBO middleweight title before the end of the year. So that's what I mean. So we're not getting any closer, guys, to unifying that division that's already in need of a unification to get anyone to care. So who would be interested in that other than Warren himself?
Didn't Shannon Beck already beat Denzel Bentley? He
I
did.
don't know. So how does he work himself back to a mandatory by
He
the end
beat
of the
he
year?
beat him. He beat him 3 years ago.
It went the distance, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Four-weight world champion Nonito Donaire is set to return to the ring on June 14th at the age of 42 to face Andres Campos for the WBA interim bantamweight belt in Argentina.
Okay.
Joseph Parker tells The Ring that he would welcome a trilogy bout with Derek Chisora on the Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois 2 undercard at Wembley Stadium. I need to see this Chisora like I need a hole in my head. I mean, this guy is.
No one cares.
Okay, guys, we talked about this, and this is the update. The California State Athletic Commission has overturned Emmanuel Navarrete's
This is
controversial
interesting.
technical decision victory over Charlie Suarez to a no contest. Top Ranks Carl Moretti has also revealed the WBO have already ordered an immediate rematch between the two. The bout was called off in the 8th round last month due to an accidental head clash resulting in a cut near Navarrete's eyebrow. However, footage released post-fight appeared to show a Suarez left hand that caused the damage. This whole situation is wild. How long does Navarrete need?
I don't
How
know.
long
It's a
do you
big
need?
fucking cut on the
That's
side
what
of
I
his
mean.
head.
That's what I mean.
I'll take it. Good.
Me too. The WBC has ordered Badu Jack to defend his WBC Cruiserweight World title in an immediate rematch with Noel Mikhailian. Jack defeated Mikhailian by majority decision on the Canelo School undercard last month. I don't know about that. About that we need. I don't know.
No, but isn't he scheduled to fight Opataya?
Who, Badu or
Yeah, Badu. I think that they're gonna make the Opataya fight.
look? The only thing that matters there is Jaya Pataya and Zordo. They got to clean that up.
Correct.
Then you could make these fights, but those two not fighting is
I
not
agree.
good for a division that's never been glamorous. And now you have a fight there that people would care about, and you're not making it. We'll talk about Jaya Patai in a second. Lastly, Xander Zayas will face Jorge Garcia Perez for the vacant WBO super welterweight world title in New York City on July 26th. Bruce Shushu Carrington will also fight Mateus Heta for the WBC interim featherweight belt on the co-feature. Look, there's way too many people at featherweight for that fight to be happening. If they think, look, Shushu's what, 28 or closing on 29?
Yeah.
Me and you already said, do it now.
Move him.
To be fighting this guy for an interim title. Mateus Heta.
Yo,
all the dudes
enough with the local stuff. It's his, not to be overly critical or overstep my boundaries.
I think you are.
The story is tragic, Shushu's story. But it's a long time ago. He's a professional fighter. It's time to move him. He's got to fight a top 5 guy. If you want,
I guess if there's some interim belt, because what belt is that?
But I mean, they're like anointing him. They've anointed him. He had a bunch of good knockouts.
That the belt that Steph is giving up?
I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, before we get into reviews, I'd just like to pose a question to you, B, because it applies to a lot of these. Do the stakes of a fight dictate how excited you get over said fight, and to what degree?
Like, all right, if this guy wins,
we saw
this guy
some
wins.
shit from Japan at this Tuesday or Wednesday morning, whatever time we were texting like maniacs. That was brilliant fight of the year type.
Yeah.
Jump off the couch shit. But when you're not emotionally invested, and I'm not talking about us, you know what I mean? I'm proposing
I mean, I think that it happens. Well, again, we talk about the sport is tribal, right? And it's also regional. It's also nationalistic. So yes, if a Mexican guy is fighting a Japanese guy in Japan at 4 a.m, was there belts involved in that?
I think there were belts involved in the whole card.
Okay.
We're gonna start with
What I'm saying is, most of what people root for
the
is
IBF super featherweight. That's it was also I don't know I think I did text you. We were like certain that the Sugar Nunez Masanori Rikishi fight, which we're going to talk about next, was the main event. It was second to last. It was the co-main.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about. I'm just curious what you think about that because when we're seeing these high level things and going, guys, not much is going on in the sport now, and we're getting fights of the year. Are we wording that wrong then? Because it's like, should we be saying not much is going on, guys, in regards to the names of the sport?
No,
Because
but
we're
I mean,
getting fight of the year, fight of the year, fight of the year type fights. And okay,
is a vacant super feather IBF.
but Masanori Rikishi and Sugar Nunez, like they're not names, they're not fighters that people know. I mean, we're gonna get to that because I was just real quick. So, guys, it was early Wednesday morning on the zone. Yokohama Buntai, which is the venue in Japan. Tsubasa Narai versus Yuna Hata rematch at 130. Narai stopped Hata in the first fight. B and I predicted it would happen again. Narai was dominating, but Hata was in the pocket throwing, so it was fun. It started to get a bit ugly. Yuna Hata's face was busted up. Narai dropped him in the eighth. He was in bad shape. Narai threw the kitchen sink at him, and the ref jumped in and stopped it. So yeah. Masanori Rikishi, 16-0, 14 straight wins, 16-1, 14 straight wins versus Sugar Nunez, who he's really avoided. Look, he's 27-1 with 27 KOs. Everyone he's beat, he knocked out.
Yeah.
He's been the mandatory for a year. Look, our guy, at least I'm not going to put on B, at least my guy, Apache Kakachi just straight up and down ducked him. He just did. There's no other way.
Duck Nunez.
Yeah, there's just no way around. There's no way around it. He was like, "Nah, I'm not having that. I'll fight this guy over here." This was for the vacant IBF super featherweight world title. Huge height. What's that?
This was a firefight.
Huge height reach advantage for Rikishi, and I wondered if he'd use it. He did. He stayed on that long southpaw jab while Sugar Nunez tried to jab and use head feints to get inside. Rikishi was frustrating Nunez with the jab and movement. Started landing an uppercut and a hook downstairs, which is pretty stuff. Nunez landed a big right hook in the fourth. Rikishi ate it. I wondered if he could move like this, B, for 12 rounds. We always say that when I got move. I'm going, can he do this? So I'm questioning that. And Nunez started to land big shots. Then Rikishi fires back. So I go, oh, the tide's turning. Then this maniac fires back, lands something big, fun stuff. These two maniacs stood chest to chest in the sixth and ripped off short, hard shots. Obviously, Masanori Rikishi would have been better served boxing, B. As fans, we love that he decided to trade, but these guys do. B and I
this was rock'em sock'em shit.
Look, I love that he decided to trade, or maybe he did not decide, B. Maybe Nunez gave him no choice.
Right.
Nunez landing short, heavy, chopping shots. He's really good. Big right hand early in the 10th had Rikishi hurt and wobbly, but he kept firing back. This guy
was tough.
Masanori Rikishi is a gun. I'm a fan. Nunez ripping the body. I have no idea how this Rikishi made it through that round. Brutal stuff. Nunez looked like he could go another 15B. Did you notice that? Like when
he did it in the 12th, though, it looked like the end of Bradley Provodnikov, where they were just like willing the punches towards each other. You know what I'm talking about?
Some of that, though, I think is how's this motherfucker still here? Salute.
Yeah, thank you.
Look, Sugar Nunez is the Terminator, man. He doesn't let up. He doesn't give you a second to breathe, which I can't imagine what that is like. No, when you don't have you're using your feet well and
seek and destroy stuff.
Yes. Just walks you down and throws punches and bunches. Again, I have no clue how Masanori Rikishi finished this fight on his feet. He did. He gained a new fan in me. Nunez might beat everyone at 130. He might. I had it 116, 112, Sugar Nunez.
8-4.
Judges had it 115, 113, 116, 112, and 117, 111 for the new IBF Super Featherweight Champion, Eduardo Sucre Sugar Nunez. My card makes it seem lopsided. Some of those scores do too. And
thought
maybe it was B, but what a fun fight.
It could be close, and
Would be
we
close.
talk about that.
Brendo, if you're 130 pounds, you're on fucking alert because this Sugar Nunez.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
I have all the guys printed out, in front of me as well at 130. I don't know if you're looking at it yet.
I am.
I have it right here. So it's I don't believe there is a champion at 130. I believe it's vacant. They have O'Shaquie Foster at number 1. Sugar Nunez destroys O'Shaquie Foster. Emmanuel Navarrete Sugar Nunez is maybe a fight of the decade waiting to happen. Anthony Cacace didn't want it with him. So if they force it, they force it. Are we saying Lamont Roach is not coming back to 30 after this Tank fight, B? Or
He's going to come back to 30. He beats Joe Cordina.
He beats Robson Conceição. Eduardo Hernandez, he beats. I think he beats Charlie Suarez.
Yeah, I agree.
Albert Batagaziev, I don't know. How about Ray Ford? It's a good fight. No?
It's a good fight, yeah. It's a good fight.
I got shit for my paperwork is falling all over the place. I blame you.
Yeah, I caused that wind in your house to blow your shit around.
You did.
Well, again, fun fight. I hope you guys got to watch that.
All right, so my initial statement of he might beat everyone at 130 is not that crazy, is it?
It's not crazy.
Does anything
he might beat everyone at 130.
Yeah,
that's a good statement. You're not like, oh, I think he beats everybody,
right? Because I'm about to say something that's crazy in a minute.
Go ahead.
It's absolutely crazy in a minute.
Controversial. Controversy.
I got. So the ethnicity of the guy I'm going to say it about. People on Twitter said you must be blank, meaning the ethnicity. I'm not saying it yet because I don't want to give. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a well-respected journalist wrote, "Oh, wow," because it's like that bold of a state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So guys, the main event: Yoshiki Takei versus Yatapang Tangdi. This is for the WBO bantamweight title. Brendo, 3 words: pack him up.
Yeah.
This Yoshiki Takei lands a beautiful 1-2 right down the pike. Drops this Yatapang Tangdi and had him hurt badly. Dropped him 2 more times for a total of 3 knockdowns. But the 3 knockdown rule wasn't in a fight over there in Japan. I don't know if that's a Japanese thing or a WBO thing. I'm not sure. Do you know, B?
I don't know.
Okay. Takei kept punching and the ref jumped in. Absolute demolition in the first round. That is how you get a buzz in this sport. Main event in your home country. Absolutely annihilate the guy in front of you. Yoshiki Takei goes to 11-0 with 9 KOs. 28 years old. This kid is now.
I told you that dude ain't shit.
You did. You said this guy, but see, let's be fair. We can go back. I was playing devil's advocate. I said, he's 15-0 with 9 KOs, but then I said he's getting packed up
and I said, look, he fought 2 guys in 2023. The 2 fights he had, 2 of the 3 fights he had in 2023 were against guys in their debut who have never had a fight since.
Yeah, it's insane. Look, to me,
Pablo, in Thailand, they'll just, as Vinny so eloquently put it last week, he said this guy beats up the rickshaw driver.
Yeah, like he get paid. The fighter's like, I'm gonna take a rickshaw to the event, and then when he gets dropped off, he asks the rickshaw driver, "Do you want to be the guy that fights me?" And then it's a pro fight.
So there's Thai, there's Thai boxing, Thai kickboxing.
It's like on every corner.
There's Muay Thai fighting. And then
there's like cockfight and gambling going on.
And then there's boxing. There's actual boxing with boxing rules: no feet, no elbows. Standard Queensberry rules. And if you ever take the pleasure of watching, it's like the part in Bloodsport where he's all shit faced and he's beating the guys up at a bar. That's what some of these like rings look like where they're staged. There's a chicken smoking a cigarette ringside.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
with like a bouffant. The chicken has the bouffant and the hairdo.
And he's wearing a suit.
Yoshiki Takei goes to 11-0 with 9 KOs. Look, he's now a star amongst the
Yeah,
small weight classes. Junto Nakatani, Ryosuke
they're
Nishida,
moving these guys fast, but
yeah,
that
Seo
was a
Tatsumi,
gimme. So
Tenshin Nasukawa, all those guys I just named, they're in the same class,
they're on the
bro.
same
So
weight class, and they're all Japanese. So there's no, again, you got to travel, far or
exactly. There's
whatever.
there's no roadblocks, as we like to say on
Right?
the
They could just
show,
make those fights there.
and they should next because they're all ready. Because the Tenshin Nasukawa kid who doesn't look like he has many fights. Remember, you were like, "Yo, he had mad fights as kickboxing,
Yeah, yeah.
Muay Thai. He's mad experienced, and they're
Right,
like stars there.
right.
Keep making these fights." Friday night, The Zone, Virgin Hotels, Las Vegas. This guy, Showbiz, the adult that's doing these things in between fights, might be the corniest person in the history, a
And
hundred
you
plus
just
years.
gave him a promo, and that's what he lives off of.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
What a cornball.
yeah. He's
Legitimate. The kid, our generation would say douche chills. Legit, when kids say cringe,
yeah.
I have to like cover the TV
It's
with my
bad.
hand.
It's
It's
bad.
bad. Caden Griffiths, 19 years old, 4-0, 4 KOs versus Edgar Gutierrez, 3-2. Welterweights. I absolutely murdered Caden Griffiths in previous episodes on this show. I said, B, the concept of the great white hype is dead, even though some people don't want to admit it. You know what I mean? The no hoper, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
of people who came in. I was calling him that. I need to make it a point to say that this kid has vastly improved. Yoel Diaz is doing really good work with him, tightened up his punches, clearly worked on his head movement and footwork. Monster left hook in the fourth, starched Gutierrez. Salute to young man Caden Griffiths for dedicating himself to improving. He's a sweetheart of a kid. He's 19 years old. I murdered him and thought he looked like some great white hope shit. And the amount of improvement he's done at this young,
According to BoxRec, he was 0-4 as an amateur.
wow.
I don't know
Mad
what that means.
respect to the amount of improvement he's done since the last time I saw him. Now if he keeps improving, we got to talk about it. It gets packed up, doesn't matter, but respect. Federico Pacheco, that's Diego's little brother, B. Not so much littler,
Right.
but younger.
Yeah.
8-0, 6 KOs. We just spoke about him in March, Brendan.
He's a
Versus
blob,
guy named,
right?
Yeah, yes. Calvin Barnett, 5-2 heavyweight. Look, Pacheco insanely out of shape again. Insanely out of shape. He's got a good jab, but doesn't use it enough. He moves fairly well for being so fucking out of shape, disrespectfully out of shape to the sport, not to me and
Like
you.
Jarrell Miller?
No, more worse. Way worse.
I'm just taking a shot at Jarrell Miller.
Okay, fair.
He just caught a stray.
He caught a stray. He just doesn't do enough in there, Brendan. This guy Barnett was popping him with the jab at will. Pacheco is tough to watch, man. Tough to watch.
Yeah, so
all three judges had a 58-55. I don't want to have to watch this kid again.
So
Brandon.
yeah, look, he's the brother of a famous fighter. So
it's being done, not necessarily nepotism.
It's just to get eyes on the undercard.
Yeah, I don't want to see this kid. I'm being serious.
Yeah, they're probably doing his brother a favor.
I don't want to see this kid on our cards, bro. I mean, I guess a Friday night.
So let's not talk about him.
Moving on.
I don't think he's good. I think he stinks.
Joshua Rocket Edwards, 25 years old, 2024 U.S. Olympian, 1-0 versus Alexander Rhodes, 2-1 heavyweight. Josh Edwards is really good, man. He's really good. Did you watch this?
I didn't watch. No, I watched the Bek Bully main event.
Bro, he's really good. He moves like a middleweight in there. You know how me and you hate when people say that, when they say it about Fury, and we're like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't at all.
He moves like a heavyweight. Yeah.
If you shrunk Fury to a welterweight and he moved, you'd be like, he looks terrible.
Right.
No, this kid moves like a middleweight, and it's not an exaggeration. Everything off that jab, B. Packed up Alexander Rhodes in the first round. Beautiful right hand. Let's keep him active, Brendan. Another really good kid. I said the Griffith kid.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart of a kid. Eric Priest, 15-0 versus Luis Arias, 22-4, 11 KOs. Fought everyone, Brendan. You remember him.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Jacobs, Gabe Rosado, Luke Keeler, Jared Hurd, Vaughn Alexander, Erickson Lubin. Middleweights. Eric Priest is another guy I haven't been impressed with and have said as much, who looked like a completely different
He's good.
fighter.
Eric Priest is good.
He looked like a different fighter. That kid, Julian Chua, is a really good trainer, B. You like him?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
He's done wonders with this kid as far as
Priest is good. He's like ranked in the top 25 now. He's good.
Bro. B, good tough opponent for Priest in his 16th fight.
Yeah.
I thought it might be a bit too early when I saw the name, but this was a different fighter than I saw in his last fight in January against Tyler Howard. I was killing him, if you remember. B.
Yeah.
You bigged him up. You said, no, I think he's good. He's good. And I said, I don't know if he's got it. That was more my thing. Now, I wasn't doing that. He stinks. I don't,
Yeah.
Good performance against a tough veteran. I had it 97-92, Eric Priest. Judges had it 99-90, 96-93, 99-90. The main event, Bek Bully, Bektamir Melikuziev, 15-1, 10 KOs versus Darius DFG Fogum. They were saying Fogum. I've heard him say it, so it's the weird thing. It's like the Consecao. They say Consecao. I heard him say. I go by how a person says it. Look, both of us pick Fogum. Melikuziev keeps those hands dangerously low. Right?
Yeah,
dangerously low. Very awkward style.
You're
not a fan.
No, and the knockdowns and props to him. He lasted. The knockdown in the 12th is what the difference was. I'd pick Fulgham in a rematch.
Yo, do you know that a few people said that?
Did they?
I was like, I'm gonna ask B about a rematch. I kept a mental note.
Yeah,
I think friend of the show Doug Fisher said I would pick Fulgham in a rematch.
I would pick Fulgham in a rematch.
He wasn't like making a bold pick or anything.
Right.
Just from what he saw, I would pick Fulgham in a rematch.
I'm very much a Bek Bully non-fan. I get it. Like, this is what he does.
The way you beat him is throwing a short, crisp 1-2s.
Yeah.
I don't think this is. Look, Fulgham wasn't doing that. He was following Melikuziev around, not throwing that jab.
Yeah.
I thought he has a good jab. He got hurt in the third B and then just looked completely lost in there. He landed a couple of right hands in the fourth that got Bek Bully respect. Fulgham came out confident in the fifth, looking to build off those moments.
Yeah.
Busted up Melikuziev's nose, leaking, and then all of a sudden it's a good fight. Thomas Taylor took a point from Melikuziev for holding in the seventh after multiple warnings. Brendan, we like him as a ref. Brendan, what did you think of this call? These things are important and close.
I think that, the guy's got to establish himself as the third man in the ring, but I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a little.
I just think it can be disastrous in close
fights. But if he tells them, we don't often hear what he says to them in the locker room, right?
We do.
So if he says to them, like, look, if you do this, I'm gonna, warn you, and I'm gonna take a point.
Yeah,
and if he's consistent like that, then I have no problem with it. Yeah. If he's inconsistent, again, these are things you got to hear ahead of time. I don't think he was like pulling for one guy or the other. You know what I mean?
No. I don't either. No. I don't want to imply that. And
sometimes the referees over involve themselves. But again, if what he felt Melikuziev was doing was detrimental towards Fulgham's progression, then he's got to, and he warned him. Yeah. Then he's got to take the point.
Hey, what a fun fight this ended up being, man.
Yeah.
Bek set up a left hand up top with a body shot that dropped Fulgham in the 12th, as you mentioned. Look, two absolute goons, no matter who you like or don't like. Guys, if you like one of these guys or don't, they're goons.
Yeah.
Hell of a fight. I had it 114, 112 for Bek Bully, Melikuziev. All three judges had it 114, 112 as well. Salute both of these guys. I'd love to see it again at some point. But for now, Melikuziev is a mandatory. So it's like I wanted to run it back, but I don't, you and I both feel the same way. You got to move him either way. We're talking about.
No, he's got to move. Yeah.
You got to move on. And
got to put him in tough.
If you lose, then you lose.
True.
If you lose, then you lose. But you got to move him. but I'd like to see them run it back after that,
Me too.
regardless of that. Friday night, the zone, Domo Alcalde, Guadalajara, Mexico. Our guy Corey Erdman and Gabe Rosado on the call. It's got a good little
Good
tandem.
team.
Good team. There was a girl with them.
Don't
during
take this the
card.
wrong way. Good B team right now.
Yes.
So I don't mean that they're not as good. I just mean that that's the position.
That's the way they're positioned.
Yeah.
Not where we view them to be. There was a girl with them doing interviews, etc. Pretty Latina girl named Sofia Gutierrez. She is the worst reporter / journalist I've ever seen on a boxing card. I was in awe. I was finding myself distracted by her. Adrian Coriel, former IBF light flyweight campeón, 25-6, 1 draw, versus Johan Rubio, 8-2-2 flyweights. Coriel came in at 120 pounds, which is 8 pounds above the flyweight limit, which is what they were calling it. I don't know if he never planned to make 112 or what, B. Coriel was doing some good work, showed glimpses of why he was the champion, but Johan Rubio came to fight. Some nice exchanges. This was admittedly a stay busy fight for Adrian Coriel, but if his plan is to get back into title contention, he needs to tighten up and get in shape. I don't understand this. He got hit by way too many shots, B, especially from an 8-2-2 guy. A very tough 8-2-2 guy, but not a world-class guy. UD for Adrian Coriel and a rugged one. I don't know. Our guy, Brendan loves this guy's hat, Pablo. He wears this little hat. They're like a Uzbekistan, like
a fez?
No, like a military.
A beret.
Like a beret.
Like though, when there's like a terroristic takeover in an action movie in the 80s and the dude rocks like a little beret for some reason?
Yes. Serious.
These dudes wear that shit.
Who is this?
He's called MJ, like Michael Jackson, because of his name, but his name is Murajan Akhmadaliyev.
No one can pronounce it, except for
Murodjon. Murodjon. Akhmadaliyev. MJ, yeah. So they call him MJ, Murajan Akhmadaliyev.
He looks like a dictator.
Right?
He looks like a dictator.
Yeah, that is great.
Look, Brendan and I have sung his praises for how long now, B? The length of the show, right?
Yeah.
2016 Olympic bronze medalist, former unified champion.
By the way, this was not announced until week of.
Right, which is insane because we knew that the next for him was the monster anyway. 13-1, 10 KOs versus Luis Castillo. No, not that Luis Castillo. Brendan and I were both a little bit worried. That happened twice this week. 31-6, 20 KOs, 122 pounds. Look, MJ is very calm and measured. He doesn't force anything. He's looking to create angles, and he doesn't throw wasted shots.
No.
Castillo, he is. Castillo was throwing a lot of punches, but Akhmadaliyev is just so good defensively. He started landing that beautiful straight left hand, which made Castillo think. Talk to me about Gabe Rosado here. Gabe Rosado mentioned that MJ was wasting movement, but I disagree. He was setting things up with foot and head feints. Now, Gabe Rosado is a veteran professional fighter who has fought everyone. So I can't tell him shit, but I don't think MJ wastes any movement. He was going,
look, there are times I think some of these commentators say like, well, if I wouldn't do that, right?
Okay.
Because for me, I'd waste energy. That would be a waste of energy for me.
For Gabe Rosado, right? Whether it's prime,
right? And we've seen multiple people become analysts.
But we're big fans of this guy. Who do you tend to lean towards? Me saying no, he's setting things up with that movement. Whereas we see people.
What do you mean? Who do I lean towards? I lean towards my co-host. All right, there's a little thing called fucking loyalty on this show.
I don't believe.
All right,
you like being a contrarian.
No, I don't like being a contrarian.
To me, you do.
I just know it gets your goat.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I concur. I don't necessarily think it was waste energy. Also, guys, look at the opponent. You know what I mean? He's fighting a guy, that he's knows he's going to beat the shit out of, that hadn't been active in over a year, that lost 2 of his last 3, that lost 3 of his last 5. So, I mean, and 5 of his last 7. You know what I mean? It's look, what did I say last week? Context matters.
Yeah. So now I'm playing devil's advocate. So is Gabe Rosado right? Well, then you should pack him up. Then don't play with your food, because don't play with your
He
food
needs
applies.
rounds.
I don't see. I agree. I don't think a guy like Akhmadaliev has that. He knows what he's doing and he's methodical about
Yeah,
what
I
he's
agree.
doing. Look, he lands a perfect left to the solar plexus, folded Castillo up at the end of the 5th. I think he's done. He somehow beat the count. Then the bell saved him. So that's how it happened.
Right.
Short, crisp left hook, drop Castillo again in the 6th. He switched stances before he landed that. I don't know if you paid any attention to that, Pete. Just a lot of subtle stuff in there. Gabe Rosado was getting frustrated that MJ wasn't letting his hands go and was playing with his food. He even said it. He felt as if he should have got Castillo out of there, made a statement, and moved on to Inoue. I didn't see it that way, and I like Gabe Rosado as a analyst.
He's getting Inoue anyway.
A lot. It's a valid point, but you can't change a fighter's temperament, Brandon. You can't.
No,
that's his like
right. That's what I'm saying.
All these people names. Oh, this guy's a killer. This guy's intellectual.
Right, but what I'm saying is like, why does he have to do anything that Gabe is saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is how he knew he was going to win, he knows that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. As long as he doesn't lose,
you call him a leprechaun or a dictator?
He's a leprechaun dictator.
He waits for things to come to him, that he sees,
right.
That he's setting up off those feints. He created openings in the 8th, put shots together, and Castillo's corner threw in the towel. MJ versus the monster in Japan is next. Brendan feels like I know what's about to happen, and it's gonna when I want it to happen, it's going to happen. That's how we view MJ. Like I said, guys, if you think we're off here and you don't like that, guys, we say this guy's playing with his food about guys that are killers.
Right.
Don't play around when you could get clipped by something. This isn't that type of style. With little hat. The little hat wearing Murajan Akhmadaliev.
The little hat.
Goiás Valenzuela, 30-4, 17 KOs, upset a few good fighters, which led to that fight with Subriel Matias in March. Got stopped in that fight, if you remember, B.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back just 2 months later, which a little, the antenna goes up for me. Versus Manuel Medina, another guy, B. I go, that can't be Manuel Medina. For a second, I was worried it was you know who I'm talking about?
No, who are you talking about?
Manuel Medina fought everyone in the 90s and 2000s.
John
Molina, Naseem Ahmed, Derek Gainer, Paul Engel, Johnny Tapia, Marquez, Scott Harrison, Kevin Kelly. Remember that guy? He fought everybody. 140 pounds. Not sure why this was the co-main, B-man. Little appetizer before the main event.
I guess,
back and forth action. Manuel Medina is a local guy who teaches kids how to box. So maybe that's why, because he was local. Lots of people cheering for him. So this is supposed to be a bounce back fight for Goiás, but Medina didn't get that memo, clearly. They were slinging the dogs, Long. My opinion, Goiás came back way too fast from that Matias fight, way too soon. I had it 96-94 from Manuel Medina and was in what was a disastrous loss for Goiás Valenzuela. All 3 judges had it for Goiás Valenzuela. Those are bad scores, and Manuel Medina won that fight. Poor kid. Manuel Gallegos, 21-2, 1 draw, 18 KOs versus big stepper Khalil Coe, 9-1-1, 7 knockouts, 175. Both of us picked Gallegos to win.
So we saw Gallegos embarrass Coe in November in person in Philly, and in July we saw Coe fight. And I don't think we were that impressed. He fought like a fitness guy.
He fought a jag.
Look, he looked
Khalil Coe was busting this guy up, beating him up on
Beating
the
the
jab alone.
shit out of him.
With the jab. He had him bleeding and busted up by the time the second round, B.
Bro, it
And
looked
I
like
don't
the
think
guy.
he let anything go yet.
It looked like Gallegos was in a fight before the fight started.
Agreed. And he didn't even start letting his shit
So
go yet, B.
this is what people see in Coe.
Yes.
So this is why Coe is on these cards.
And why he got the
Khalil
shots to
Coe
come back.
feature.
Yeah.
They put him right back in there. That must have been a fluke against Gallegos.
Well, listen, he talked about being sick when we saw him, and you and I just weren't having it.
Right.
And now I believe him. I'm not sure.
I don't know. That jab looked sharp. He looked real sharp. Gallegos, his corner stoppage in the 6th on his stool.
Gallegos' eye was a mess, B. I'm not sure
His
why
eye
Coe
is
wasn't
pulling at his nose.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Coe wasn't putting a right hand behind it.
Because what he was doing was working, I think.
He was digging to the body.
And I think he probably thought this is going to go the distance. I want to save that for later, set those up.
Okay. Gallegos looked lost.
I don't think Coe thought that he was going to quit.
Yeah, look, he quit on his stool after the 5th round. Khalil Coe said he was sick when he fought Gallegos in their first fight. I remember it reiterating, I did not believe him, and I thought he was making excuses. I believe him now. Correct. This was a clinic and a one-sided beatdown. I like Khalil Coe, and I think he's at his best. He can make some noise. When
he's got a little future. He's got a little future.
We do, yes.
All right.
Saturday.
The big card.
Saturday, Amazon Prime, Michelob Ultra.
You want to go worst to first?
Las Vegas. Yes. Look, I just want to say this.
We went long on the other stuff, so.
Okay, let me just say this. I saw Michael Ortega was the ref and said out loud to myself, fucking hell. Fuck. 2 Mexico. Look, Isaac Lucero, 16-0, 12 KOs. Omar Valenzuela, 23-0, 20 KOs, 154. Both guys from Mexico, both making their debuts here. So you kind of go, well, which one of these guys is going to be real? And one
right.
2 Mexican fighters from Mexico. You know what it's going to be. They sat in the pocket and slugged. Isaac Lucero landed a big counter right on the button to drop Valenzuela. Michael Ortega did not disappoint me. This Lucero is throwing a bunch of punches, landing some, but Omar Valenzuela knows it's the end of the round. He's aware. He's fully aware, and he knows he just got to survive 2-3 seconds. Of course, this Michael Ortega jumps in and stops it with 1 second left in the round.
Michael Ortega.
Just to fucking stick it to me, no diddy. This guy's unfucking real, this Michael Ortega. Anyway, Isaac La Bestia Lucero with the 2nd round KO. I'd like to see more from him, B.
Yes.
All right, so here comes Pazzi's statement of the week to cause some waves, cause some people to say, here's racism in full effect. He must be Cuban, meaning me, was the response to my tweet. Yoenli Hernandez, 7-0, 7 KOs versus Kyron Davis, buddy of mine, Pablo, 19-3-1, middleweights. And then there's
he's a Philly extended guy. Kyron Davis,
Redman,
Pablo
trains out of Philly from the area. P.
Brendan and I Delaware.
Yes, Brendan and I both picked Kyron Davis in this fight. Hernandez is a big, strong middleweight. That's what jumped out at me right away, because Kyron's a natural middleweight, and this guy still looked huge.
Wait, I picked Davis?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I picked Hernandez. You picked
I picked Davis.
Yeah.
Another fighter be in Yoenli Hernandez that's proving geography doesn't dictate style anymore. It used to. This guy's Cuban. This is how he's going to fight. No, not anymore. This guy's European. This is how he's going to fight. This guy's Cuban. No, not anymore. Moves and boxing well, throws shots with bad intentions.
He was trying to take Davis's face off.
3 and 4 punch combinations, uppercut, right hook, power jab, drop.
This was a statement fight. I mean, he's here.
Only the 2nd time he'd been knocked down in 24 fights, and the 1st time in 8 years that guy Davis had been down. Look, man, this kid Yoenli Hernandez is different. He is special.
He's very good. We'll see.
Gets right back into defensive position after he cracks you with a combination. This guy's a fucking beast. Can fight off the back foot if you try to press him. Look, what a
Yeah,
chin on Kyron Davis. Let me just say that in this, because I'm about to say some other shit. I'm gonna make a bold statement. I made this statement. I got killed. I might be making a couple of them, co-host. One, next to Abdullah Mason, Yoeli Hernandez, the best prospect young fighter in the sport.
Okay.
My second statement, there's 3 champions right now at middleweight. Alam Hanala, who we just said is somehow getting a fucking Denzel Bentley fight. Why Alam Hanala would want that, I have
I
no
don't know.
fucking clue. Carlos Adames, who we like, and Everslandi Lara, who we haven't seen, heard of,
Correct.
or anything in 10 years. With 8 total professional fights, Yoeli Hernandez beats all 3 of them right now.
I think that's interesting. They're not going to, there's too much meat in between No Diddy, in between the top.
You like that one?
In between, in between the top guys.
Okay.
And Hernandez.
But I just reeled off 3 names.
I understand that. So you got Ammo Williams. You got.
Packs him up.
No. What? Hang on. Hear me out.
All right.
What I'm saying is those guys will choose those guys before they choose Yoeli Hernandez. We're going to have to see Hernandez in a few more undercards, right? Before we start talking, he's at the top of the list.
This is who's there. You tell me, will any forget will he win?
They're not going to fight him.
Will any of these people fight him?
No.
Aaron McKenna, Shane Mosley Jr., Troy Isley. He just fought Kyron Davis. Kyle Davis will fight anybody. Etinosa Alaha.
That's who they got to go after.
They agreed.
Troy Isley.
Eubank ain't fighting him.
Troy Isley fights on ESPN, doesn't he?
Meaning Top Rank?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where it goes, Vinny.
Hamza Shiraz is moving. And then the rest of the champions. Etinosa Alaha or Troy Isley, he's got to fight.
Troy Isley.
I'm saying right now, he beats after 8 professional fights. Okay? 8. Yoeli Hernandez beats everyone at middleweight, and he's the best middleweight.
Wow.
And he's the best young fighter.
Bold statement. He's also 27 in Cuban years, so he's 32.
He's 35. Pablo, all of those dudes, whatever a Cuban's age is, just add like 20 years onto it.
Yeah.
All right. Up next
Jermall Charlo, 33-0. 22 knockouts.
Steamroll.
Thomas Cornflake Lamana, 39-5, 8-1.
Tell you what I think about this fight. They should have put Plant in there with Lamana. You know what I mean?
We said there isn't any predictions on our part. It was, if he doesn't pack him up, he should retire, meaning Charlo.
He packed him up.
Packed him up.
Beat the shit out of him.
Look, Charlo always had a good jab.
Yeah,
sharp.
You just see the gap in skill.
Correct.
Again,
it's just really tough to
levels to this.
He's at Brendan. It's
Charlo's biggest problem is not in the ring. It's
inactivity.
It's publicly inactivity and publicly humiliating himself.
Yes, guys, activity matters. It's tough to gauge where he's at considering the competition. He has to stay active, as Brendan said. Look, he acts like a buffoon in public, and he's been gone to 2 fights in 4 years. Isn't going to cut it. And those kids are 35.
And now they're 35.
There's
a twin brother, Pablo. That's why we're saying they.
No,
you can't tell them they're identical.
It's not they them. We call them. I can't get them straight.
They're Jermall and Jermall. Big Charlo.
They both fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they trying to do like this? They're like a sitcom swap.
I mean, they might have done it. We'll never know. Like, I don't feel well today. You fight this guy?
Yeah.
They have different. They have different tattoos.
Yeah,
and used to wear different hair.
Guys, and real quick, I know you want to rip through this.
No, I just want to talk about this more. Charlo to me looks soft to the body still. He's not like ripped up like he used to be. You know, the muscle tone is gone. This is to your point of him being 35.
This is what happens. Look, this is what happens, Brendan, when you fight twice in 4 years.
Also, these guys they're allegedly booze bags. So you sit around drinking your fucking purses away. You know what I mean? And then
I don't know nothing about that.
Your main goal before a fight is just to make weight, right? So your fight before the fight is to get to the weight,
and you're not training for your opponent, and you can get away with a Thomas
and
Lamana.
Thank you. Sorry, shouts to Thomas Lamana, but Thomas Lamana is a no-dimensional fighter. It's a cover-up, throw punches. His best weight was 2 divisions below us. And again, we've seen him get flatlined at this weight.
I mean, he got knocked out by Erislandy Lara, and I don't like throwing this word around loosely. For 1 second, I was like, he's dead. Of course he wasn't.
And it was a neck punch.
Yeah, just crazy. He got packed up.
So where do you rate Charlo now at 68? You can't. This isn't a great barometer. He did what he had to do.
Someone already put him in a ridiculous place. One of the sanctioning bodies already has him at 4 after a win over Thomas Lamana.
All right.
2 fights in 4 years.
Right. All right. So let's just in the context of this card, he did what he was supposed to do, though.
Absolutely did. Absolutely
so he held up his end of the bargain.
Yep. We had what happened in Times Square repeat itself.
Right.
Let's give guys what we think are soft touches. They'll both win. Then we'll make that fight. Didn't happen in Times Square. We're about to talk about what happened here. Caleb Plant, 23-2, 14 KOs. I've never liked him. I've been vocal about not liking him. Versus Armando Resendiz, 15-2, 11 KOs.
Mario Lopez lookalike.
They're calling him Young Mario.
The fucking hair on this guy.
This fucking glorious bouffant.
Blow. Wow. You got this guy. This guy's a handsome devil. He's built like a brick shithouse, this guy, and he's got the hair to boot.
To add on to me not liking him, can I tell you what one of the PBC announced team said?
What did they
I don't
say?
know if this leapt out at you or
I was in a crowded
Okay, you
space.
ready? This is verbatim, so I'm not off. I'm not going to say it was similar to this. This is the quote as the fight's starting, introductions. Caleb Plant is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. Huh?
He is. They all love him. Everyone loves him. He's widely respected.
What is this based on?
I think interviews and respect that he gets from other people.
What's that based on? It can't be accomplishments. Bro,
No, it's your favorite, meaning like he's liked within the boxing community.
No, this meant like
your favorite fighter's favorite fighter.
When you say your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, the guy's incredible.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, what? Okay, we'll disagree. We'll agree to disagree.
I mean, look.
You think they're talking about as a human?
I think they're talking about as a guy who's tough in sparring. I think they're talking about a guy who they feel is skilled, who being next to someone in a gym and you're like, oh shit, this guy's
okay. Well, then I disagree X, with everyone, you and the people saying. So
okay,
moving on. Plant using that good jab, nothing behind it as per usual, and an unmatched dedication to prove that he's slick and athletic. That has fucking annoyed me since I first saw this.
Now it's faded in getting beat up by Benavidez. I'm gonna outright say it. I was gonna wait to say it, but now because we're getting right into it. This guy's is a shot fighter. This is the barometer of a shot fighter. You're watching it. This is a guy who, just as you said, jab, nothing behind it. He had to do it against McCumbee. He had to dig deep against McCumbee and show that he has skills as an inside fighter, right? Not taught anymore. In the whole first part of his career, there's chapters of everyone's career. The first chapter of his career, he was Sweet Hands Plant, right? That's his nickname. And he annoyed the shit out of me by throwing those 8-9 punch combinations that when he moved up into the upper echelon of the 168-pound division, when he would throw those combinations, stay in the pocket too long, he'd get countered. Remember, that was my biggest criticism of him all the time?
Yes.
Take those 6-punch combinations, make them 4-punch combinations or 3-punch combinations.
Well, that's the irony of this, B.
Now there's no punch combination.
Right. If he put a 2 and 3 behind that jab now, instead of wasting energy.
It's single shots.
He's wasting energy trying to convince the world that he's down. With his style in there.
Well, to me, it's he can't get out of the way anymore. He used to be able to get out of the way. He used to be elusive. He's not.
Armando Resendiz wasn't rattled by the lights in the big moment. He landed a couple of big shots because Plant thinks he's slicker than he is. Resendiz defense is better than he's giving credit for as well.
I'll tell you this: Resendiz standing up to those body shots that Plant was landing, those brutal left hooks, because Plant had his timing down.
Yeah, he was sitting down on them because he had his timing. So he said, now I can sit down.
I can whack you right in the gut. Yeah. And Resendiz walked right through it.
Look, he's not Nicolino Loche, but he keeps his hands nice and high, elbows tucked. He caught a couple of them. That might be why. He keeps his head off the line. Plant was doing nothing offensively. And Resendiz had him hurt badly in the sixth with two big right hands and a left hook.
I mean, if you listen to what Breadman, the advice was in the corner, he said, just win the fight on the jab and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and Plant went all balls for some reason. I don't know why he did it. I think because he can't fight the way that he used to be able to fight. Like, look, for instance, the Plant versus Uzcata guy, right?
Yeah.
That Plant was a cuter fighter.
That's his best win too.
This guy. That's not the same guy after getting beat up by Canelo and getting.
It's no small coincidence that the fight you mentioned was the best he ever looked. It was Kadagi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, Resendiz, just taking the fight to Plant and bullying him, high drama in
pushing
Vegas,
his head down.
Yeah. Armando Resendiz just giving Caleb Plant an old school beating.
Yeah.
Will versus skill or faded skill. Aspiring young fighters should watch this.
Certainly faded. 32 years old. It's an old 32. I think he's a gym rat, Plant, I don't know if he gave himself time to recover or not, or seize the opportunity to make money.
Look, a lot of Philly fighters that were gym rats were in gym wars, and they were elite level of skill that ended up with records of 45 and 22 because they left it all in the gym. I don't want to say names because it'll seem like I'm disrespecting.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
There are guys from Philly because the Philly gym wars were brutal. Look, if young fighters or fighters should show their trainers should show their young fighters, someone like a Coach Marcos, I would show them this fight not because Armando Resendiz is a brilliant fighter, right? But because he has brass balls and he went out there against a guy who is more sizzle than steak and showed that if you fight smart, listen to your corner, throw short shots, stay defensively responsible, and believe in yourself, you can beat a more talented fighter. Because shot or not, Caleb Plant's more talented than Resendiz. Right. He just is. I don't care. If he is shot the way you think, he is.
I think he's shot.
Okay. I just think he was never as good as people thought he was. That's what I saw.
I don't disagree with you.
I had it 116, 112, Armando Resendiz. Judges had it 116, 112, Resendiz. 115, 113 for Caleb Plant.
That's insane.
David Sutherland scored that fight for Caleb Plant. Pack him up.
Did you see? I posted his picture on Twitter and I said, this guy should sell pencils.
Pack him up. The other judge had it 116, 112, Resendiz. Get rid of this David Sutherland.
Bad news.
Get him out of here.
He's got a bad history.
This Caleb Plant is done. So Brendan's saying this guy's shot. I'm saying I don't know if you're right, and then I follow it up with saying he's done. So I complain. Is that agreeing with you, or is it me saying, well, I never thought this guy was good, and when he fights, he gets the shit beat out of him against elite guys. Now he's not beating this guy.
I think what you're saying is, where do we say good? Was he a middle top 10 guy and that's where he peaked? I think so.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
I think that's good.
Divisions. Good fighter. Good fighter.
Really good fighter.
No. He was a good fighter, but
not great.
I don't want to talk.
No, I think someone said to you he's special.
Yes. And then
you said no.
The piece on him said journalists and fellow boxers talk about why Caleb Plant is special. And I responded by Pernell Whitaker was special.
Right.
Loche was special. James Toney was special. So what are you talking about? If they
think it's I know. Like overstating, Yes. And again, I think that guys of a certain, like for instance, say you're let's just hypothetically.
I think it's hyperbole mixed with mixed with you stating, and I can't debate you, that everyone in boxing loves him. So you mix that with some hyperbole.
And I think he really grew on people. I think he gives honest takes to reporters, right? I think he gives honest takes. He does on like when they do the professional Zooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If people talk over him, he stands on business.
No, you know the deal. I think he's a hype beast.
He rolls dolo.
But personally, he's like a hype beast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like not the kind of guy I would like in real life, is what I'm getting at. So it looked like my hatred was coming from, I don't like this guy. And there's a lot of people, fighters, I don't like his people. And I go, yeah, Teofimo Lopez can fight when he's on his best.
Right.
Or this guy can fight when he's at his best.
I think that Caleb Plant, hanging around middle 10, top of the division at
very
certain points.
Solid fighter.
I just think he shot
at his best.
Right. I think he shot. I don't think his style lended itself.
It does not.
To a long career, because once those reflexes go.
Yep.
And I think his reflexes are gone.
They're gone.
He was getting hit with shots by Resendiz that 3 years ago Caleb Plant doesn't get hit by. Pre-Canelo, he doesn't get hit by those shots.
I have a couple questions before
he does bust up though.
He does. A couple questions. Charlo said he's still down to fight him.
Make the fight.
Agreed.
There's enough history there. Thomas LaManna, Caleb Plant's loss is no worse than Jermall Charlo beating Thomas LaManna. Sorry. Does
Resendiz get a crack at somebody to reward him? Well, can he fight in Billy? Is that a fun fight?
If they can make that, but
they can make that.
They can make that. Yeah.
You got to reward him.
Keep him around.
You got to keep him around.
Put him on that card against someone.
Okay.
Give him a payday.
Okay.
All right.
Pablo, where can everyone find you at?
Pablo Regular on Instagram
and Twitter, right? But I
don't really do anything on Twitter. I mean,
Pablo
it's
Regular
so negative
on the IG. Yeah,
too negative.
It's true.
It's all political crap.
It really is.
There's no porn on there. It's political crap and liars.
There's tons of porn on there.
Yeah. Political crap and lies.
There's no porn, he said.
No, the guy knows what he likes.
Guys, listen, we brought a special guest on tonight, and you're only our second guest. It's the second guest we've ever had.
He's laughing.
I want to apologize for not giving any good boxing analytics.
No, everything you added was
good.
Proper.
It's more than Billy does. You really you outworked Billy over there.
No, I do like his angle of being a degenerate gambler, though.
Yeah,
we do too. We want more of the degenerate part.
Probably. Right. Guys, remember to rate the show. Vin, what do they have to do? Rate it.
Pablo knows
Give
about
us a
that
star.
Stuff.
Feeds the algorithm.
Give it the best. It feeds the algorithm somehow. Pablo figured that out with Broad Street Breakdown. When you review the show, when you rate it, when you comment on everything, it feeds the algorithm and it helps us out and get us more listeners.
And the more listeners we get, hopefully get some advertisers. If you want to advertise on this show, Joe's Garage down the block or whatever, hit us up.
We'll be getting loan sharks on this.
We'll give them a shot.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me at the Killer B24 on Twitter, at I_no_that_kid on IG. Write us at kotbboxing@gmail.com, and you can find us on IG at kotbboxing. On YouTube at KOTB Podcast. Vinny, where they get you?
Pablo, do you think his handle is as ridiculous as I am?
It's the worst. It's so bad.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't set it up to have a fucking podcast.
You have to have two. That's what I do. I have a square one for my friends and family, and I have my cool Pablo Regular one where I do all my cool hip hop stuff.
Oh, he also is too good for Facebook, and I'm not even talking about Broad Street Breakdown. Like even a family one.
No, I don't do Facebook.
You're over 40. You have to have a Facebook account.
I was reluctant to get an Instagram. My wife made it for me. And you're a real fucking turd. Why don't you just tell people tell people where not to find you? I don't need another social media platform to fucking.
Speaking of that, I didn't get my copy of a new album, by the way.
I didn't either.
Do I got to talk to your boss about that?
I have a copy of vinyl.
I don't want CD for you. I just want a digital copy.
Oh, I'll just send it to you then. I can send it. Yeah. Guys, at Box Cutter Pazzi on Instagram, at Vinny_Paz on Twitter, jmtstore.com. The new joint is out now. God Sent Vengeance. Streaming everywhere. If that's
Go get that. Run it up.
Bad man. Real bad man.
Indeed. If you're into physical product, jmtstore.com. Knock them out the box merch there. Hoodies, sweatshirts, everything related to the music. Knock them out the box. All of that. jmtstore.com. We will see you in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Right.